Hey, and welcome to episode 5. We've been doing this for a whole month of the Gust podcast. Myself and my co-host Gazer PM2K. Gazer, how you doing? How's it going?
It's going okay this Sunday afternoon. I guess for you it's a Sunday evening, but it's
Yep,
going okay. Can't complain about anything.
right
It's all
on.
good.
How do you feel about us doing this for 5 episodes now? 5 weeks. Basically a calendar month. How do you
Yeah,
feel?
it's been a month. It's been a month. I'm having a good time.
It
I
doesn't feel
told
like
you
a
earlier
month.
this week. It feels like a month to me. You don't think so?
I mean, like, yes and no. Just like the time in between episodes just blurs by so fast, honestly. So
I told you earlier this week. I said I'm really enjoying what we're doing, and
it's a lot of
hope we can
fun.
keep going along those lines, man.
It's a
It's
lot of
fun.
fun.
I'm having a good
And
time.
and
Yeah.
speaking of fun, today we're joined by none other than Gabe Smart, aka Smart TCG. Gabe, how's it going? Welcome in.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm super happy to be here, and I'm super excited to be, talking about stuff.
Yeah.
It has to do with the Pokemon trading card game. So yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, anytime. Yeah, we're really trying to get everybody from little YouTubers to professional players, and then who knows where the end of the line will take us eventually. If we can even get like Stefan Win on here to be like, hey, you want to talk about what you can legally talk about? That'd be cool. But yeah, it's awesome to have you on, man. Glad to have you be here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So
Gabe, when
Pleasure.
you said you would do it, man, I was excited. I told someone, hey, I think Gabe's gonna go for it. And
yeah,
then it ended up being the weekend of you
Yeah,
going to Germany. I'm like, never mind. We'll
yeah.
do it the next week. So yeah.
That wasn't the greatest of timing, you guys.
yeah, I didn't realize that it was like Monday, and I'm like, hey, wait, I know you got Gabe to say yes, but isn't he going to EUIC? And
I said, I said, you're probably right. Let me see. I said, hey, Gabe, you're going to Germany, right? Oh, yeah, I am going to Germany. I was like, okay.
so yeah,
So next week?
we kind of
Next
We
week.
scrambled
gotta.
there to fill the spot, but I'm glad you're flexible.
Sorry about that, you guys.
No,
Yeah,
it's cool, man. You gotta chase them
I had
stipends,
an
dude.
obligation. Yeah, has nothing. Yeah, but yeah.
So you've been playing Pokemon for how long now?
That's a great question. I get this question a lot. So I started playing casually, um going to league, like once a week, um like all my decks were terrible, like they were all like borderline theme decks. I would probably say back in like 2010, 2011, and then I kind of stayed in that, range of not, like really knowing what I was doing up until about 2000, let's say 15 and 16. Like I started to be like, hey, like I could go to a league cup, like I could go to maybe, like my local regional or something like that. And then starting in about I think like 2019, that was when, like I really started to take it more seriously. And then over the past year or so was when I, like kind of, like took it to like the next level, and that's, kind of where
Oh,
I've been so far. So yeah, like I started playing about almost a decade ago. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
so
that's
just this
good.
past year. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And like I would probably say like this past like year and a half. I would probably say start of 2020 was, like really, yeah, like it was like really the time where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And then like the past, like probably 5 to 6 months was when I'm just like I'm all in.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, like it's been a crazy ride for sure.
yeah.
And yeah,
I'm sure the pandemic like kind of put a thorn in everyone's side. Really didn't help with that
yeah.
either, though. Too, but you found a way to make it, make it through anyways and adapt. Especially in the online era, playing a lot of online tournaments and developing your game that way. How do you
Yeah,
feel about the transition from like just diving in, ready to go head first off the diving board competitively, to just a dead halt with the pandemic into like
um
the online?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So I got 22nd at Collinsville Regionals, and I was like sick, like I am, like finally starting to make like strides in the game and stuff like that. And then COVID
That's
hit like
that's what you thought was gonna
2 or 3
happen.
weeks later. And then, like I was just like, well shoot, what do I do? So when it came to the years 2020 through February of 2022, I just was like, I want to get, like significantly better at the trading card game. And I just grinded an insane amount of hours at the game, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, just like nonstop. And now we're here. So but like I would say, like it was definitely a surprise. When the season got when it got postponed to start off with, I was like, oh, like it's probably, like we'll probably be off for maybe like 2 to 3 months, and then we'll be back at it. And
Yeah.
then it went on for 2 years.
Yeah,
So it was a big, yeah.
I honestly thought like, okay, cool, we'll miss Rebel Clash
Yeah.
pre-release, we'll miss, this circuit of
That's
cups,
exactly what I
and then we'll miss these two regionals, and we'll be back at it by the summer. And then it just that
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we were
it
smoking a
honestly
lot of
felt
coke.
like an eternity. Like I still bought cards.
Yep.
I bought like 2 cases worth of Rebel Clash by the time it was all said and done, ready
Oh,
to go for everything, and then
jeez.
just like to fall flat. And
Yeah.
oh man, we went really hard at that point in time. My partner and I, she and I were like, let's do it this year. Let's actually take it super seriously. And then yeah, it just
COVID kind of ruined it all.
yeah,
For the
yeah.
next
I mean,
2 years.
I think she had like 100 something championship points before like
Okay.
everything went down. And it was like I want to say like December when she had it, and we've only done like cups and stuff. Didn't get a chance to go to anything else yet, so she was doing all right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I organized more than I played at that time.
Okay. For sure. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, no, you've really torn it up, and now you're going full time with your content, is what I saw today. That you
Hmm.
talked about. Do you want to lead into that for a minute?
Sure, yeah. So, over the past probably like a month or so, coaching has been like super good. But the problem with it was that when you work and you also do that, you can't really, I would say, like commit the amount of time that you want to do to something that like that like you could really like start to grow, and it's something that like you truly love. So I was kind of in the position where it's like I live at home. I have a lot of money saved up. I'm going to try this right now. And, like I thought about it, for like a long time. And I talked to some people yesterday, and I was just like, you know what? I want to do it and see, like exactly how it goes. So I'm starting full time, I think on like the 11th or 12th. So
Hey,
like we'll see exactly how that goes.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I'm excited to see, like what the future brings, and
Yeah,
hopefully it's
I
good.
I assume that your parents are very supportive of all of it, all the whole way
Oh yeah.
through. So that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a lot of parents don't understand for a lot of people.
They didn't for
Um,
a long time too,
yeah,
and they're like, "Why are you
what?
going to, like, I don't know, like Collinsville, like they're playing like in like a stupid Pokemon tournament, right?" And then they started to see exactly. I'm like, okay, like this is action like starting to lead, to certain things. And I'm like, hey, like I
Mhm.
got top eight at Salt Lake City, and they're like, ooh, like that's a lot of guap. And then it's just, I'm so far, yeah. So
yeah. And I mean
it's
to
starting to
make top
spiral.
eight at the first like event back, that's pretty hype, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So big
it's
congrats for that.
Thank you. Yeah. It didn't start off well. I think I started 3-2, and then I hit a deck that was supposed to beat me, and I got destroyed in game one. And I'm like, well, looks like we're going 3-3 at the first regional. And then I ran off. I think I went like 7-0-1
Whew.
after like round five. So I just went on just a ridiculous heater, and then
Did you hit a
I
lot of
like
Muse?
I hit 5 on the day, and I 2-0'd them all with Gengar. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
lose a
mean,
single
five
game.
out of 9 rounds. That's
Well, no. It was
That's what you need.
5 out of 14.
okay.
So,
Well, I mean, like
yeah.
for
Oh,
day one at least, like
It when I
to
hit
push you
2,
through. Yeah.
2 or 3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit 2 or 3.
That's not bad at all then. So
So,
that's pretty solid.
yeah, it felt pretty good to hit
That
them
gets
with
you
my
at least halfway through day one, and
exactly. Yeah.
that's honestly all
Yeah.
the momentum you really need to start pushing through.
Sure, yeah. And that was honestly kind of like the thought process was just like, okay, I just need 6-2-1. I'm probably gonna hit 3 to 4 Mews. So that's already, 3 to 4 wins. I just need 2 to 3 more to make day two. So like that was kind of the thought process. Like when I chose something like a Gengar VMAX was okay, like I should be able to pick up like 3 to 4 like relatively um free wins, which was pretty much exactly what I was able
that's
to
what happened,
do.
isn't it?
So
Yeah.
yeah. So everything kind of everything
Did
kind of fell into
That's a
place.
good call. You definitely had a good meta call for that one.
did the
Yeah.
Oceania regionals help you make that decision for Gengar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think there was like four. I think it was like four Mew in top eight. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Mew
And
is
yep.
like clearly the best deck. It's just and I just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna play something that absolutely like has like a 70-30 versus it. And that was kind of the reason behind it. So yeah. And also, like decks like Rabbit Strike Urshifu at the time were like relatively
Yeah.
non-existent. So at the time I was
Poor
like,
Urshi.
yeah. So, that was the time where thinking like King was at its peak.
Yeah, we didn't really have like the triangle format that we kind of have now at the
Right.
time. So
I
we
love
didn't.
that triangle format. I love it.
Yeah.
The circle of life kind of boom, boom. I love it.
Gazer, do you have anything you want to add before we do into rapid flow?
I have plenty of things to add.
Go for it.
If anyone's wondering, I know this guy kind of personally.
Yeah.
Vance has got a local tournament about what, a month and a half ago, maybe.
Yep, got absolutely bodied at that tournament, but like it was super nice to meet you there.
Yeah, he told me there was a 1K going on not too far from my hometown, basically 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
He lives about 2 hours away, 2.5 hours. He drove out. I ran into him, ran into Liam Kid, ran into Dr. Taste Bad, a few other Twitchers and YouTubers, and it was a good time. It got me interested in playing real life, and I've been playing the real life locals ever since. I've been going to that same shop, Gabe.
Oh yeah.
I think
really
if let me run off my records real quick, see if this impresses you or not. I think the first time I went 1-1-1.
Okay.
Okay. Then I went 2-1.
Okay.
Then I went 1-2.
Okay, so you want
to? I went 2-1.
Okay.
Then I won it all. Went 3-0.
That's improvement.
And this last week I went 3-1.
Nice.
So what you're saying is Gazer needs a coaching lesson to further his game. Right? I mean, like, do you feel like that's what you need now, Gazer, that you've played a few times? Or do you, like, what do you want to do with yourself here at this point? Like, do you want to get out there and play more?
I mean, I want to keep playing more, of course. And I love the fact that now I see plays that I would have seen, like, a turn later. I see them, like, as I'm doing, like, oh, wait, I better not do that because this, that, and this could happen. So I'm seeing stuff ahead of time, and I'm stopping myself. Whereas, when I played online, I just do it, and then, like, a turn later, like, oh, my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. So I'm seeing stuff. I love that part. But, yeah, definitely. I might hit up Gabe for some coaching lessons. Now he's doing it, full time now.
There we go. Yeah, we'll have all your links in the descriptions and everything, so make sure you send all that over eventually. But now we'll do rapid flow questions. This is something that we like to do. It's going to be 5 short burst questions that we're both going to tag team back and forth through. Just give us your first answer that comes to mind, short and sweet.
Let it out.
Gazer, take it away.
Okay, Gabe, favorite restaurant?
Oh my god.
Come on.
I'll do Chipotle.
Okay, all right. Sleeves, deck blocks, and playmat you have right now for your main deck.
Ultra Pro, glossies. I like the gloss ones, and then for my box, I have a Pokemon. It has like a Tapu Lele, has a Tapu Bulu, Finny, and then also a Coco.
Pokemon
and then for my mat, I like to use like the regional ones and stuff like that, because they're free. So those are probably the ones I like to use for regionals. Yeah.
Awesome.
Must be nice. All right. Single strike, rapid strike, or fusion strike?
Oh, that's fusion strike.
Which engine is better, Bibarel or Drizzle?
Drizzle.
Okay. Under the radar deck that you think can do well this weekend?
Oh no, that's a good question.
Come on.
Hoopa Moltres.
Okay, yeah. Hoopa, man. Hoopa has really been like...
I see that.
I've been loving Hoopa. The V, so much.
Oh yeah. That one's good.
It feels solid.
Just wait till we get.
Are you talking like single prize Hoopa though in this instance?
I think the combo in general with like Hoopa V and also the Moltres, I'm not entirely sure exactly what deck, but I think that's something with those are gonna do very, very well at the events.
Okay.
Something with the V and also something with the Moltres. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just wait till we get Dark Patch back. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Dark Patch will definitely shake things up. I don't think Darkrai is like as good as everyone's cracking it up to be. Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit of overhype, but I mean we've seen like that Darkrai archetype do well years after years.
That was years ago. Everything is so much bigger now.
I mean, I don't know where to go with the Astral Radiance yet. I know I like Palkia so far, but I don't think it's like tier 1 by any means though.
I like Palkia. I want that Dark Patch. I'm after Dark Patch.
Yeah, Dark Patch can do a lot. That'll be pretty cool once we get to that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we will just shoot the breeze, basically for a little bit. So, what do you think your next move is gonna be, Gabe? From other than the regionals and internats this year and worlds, what's your next move?
Are you saying like after the season?
Yeah.
That is a great question. So I plan to go back to school in September.
Okay.
Um, that is the plan as of right now. If I, for some reason, won, like multiple regionals or something like that, or I just went on just this crazy run, or like my content creation, like really started to grow, then I would consider maybe taking another semester off, maybe just doing it like online or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure as of right now. I'm kind of, like fully focused into these next 3 to 4 months, just, like pushing like all the chips forward, basically just saying, let's see what, like we can do. And then like we'll kind of go from there. But as of right now, I probably cannot give you an answer that's like 5 or 6 months out
Yeah,
because
that's
I
fine.
simply don't know yet.
No, I mean it's definitely cool that you
Yeah.
that you want to go and get a degree and kind of stuff. What would you go for if you don't mind us asking that?
Psychology. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So basically,
Okay.
I graduated from high school in 2021, so I'm actually still like super young. A lot of people think I'm like 20, 22. I'm only 19 actually.
Yeah.
So I took a year off and I'm kind of been, like focusing on Pokemon as of right now. And like we're just gonna see exactly, like how it goes. But like school is always gonna be a fallback,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's definitely not uncommon to like put that back a couple years and go out and live a little bit and do your thing, you know? Especially if you're one doing good and having success.
I was going to say
Like
that
there's
in this kind of climate.
yeah. I mean, the way the world has moved in the past
Yeah.
couple years
Moving
with
more
content
towards
creation and streaming
Yes.
and
it's
just
all going that
internet and
way.
everything, it's going that way. It really is. And the overall the economy's in dire straits and people can make it by doing this stuff. I somehow survived a whole year solely off of Twitch revenue. I don't know how I did it. Blessed, good community. But
The bits, right? The bits I donated to
yeah,
you.
yeah, Gazer, 25
Yes,
bits.
sir. 25 bits a day.
5 days a
Mhm.
week, man. That $1.25 really put ramen in my pantry.
I
But
know. I know.
I do like noodles. So I'm a little chubby dude, but it's fine.
No,
Man,
Gabe,
I
what you're
love
saying is
ramen too.
makes perfect sense, man. What you're saying makes perfect sense. You could plan to go back, to school this semester. But I mean, if let's say your content just takes off and it blows up,
That's basically what it
let's
is.
say you get some type of offer, something along the lines of like a Chip Ritchie or something like that, where like, hey, we love what you're doing, we want you to be more part of this whole TCG thing. You never know, and
Yeah.
I can see that happening for you. So I mean, keeping your options open, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean you've done a few different teams and groups too. Has
Sure.
any of those ever like brought anything to the table that you were like, all right, I want to stay a part of this specifically, or is it more of just like, hey, we exist together, we're playtesting partners kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah. So like, so for instance, something like the Shuffle Squad, that was, like more or less a sponsorship as well. And
Mhm.
I think it kind of depends on exactly what I am, like offered as a content creator and also a competitive Pokemon player. So, like, yeah, I mean, I try to be like a business person, like the very
So
least,
if Raid Shadow Legends slides into your DMs, would you do it?
Well, it depends what they're giving me.
There you go. That's the answer. Yeah,
You
Exactly.
yeah.
gotta do it.
Like, I wasn't
I
giving
did it. I
options.
did it once, and it was nice. I declined it the second time, and I'm contemplating the third offer now.
Take it.
Sure.
Take it.
Nah. If I tell him no one more time, and then wait, maybe the fourth offer will be even better.
I wish they would message me.
You,
I wish anyone. Hey, here's public announcement from Gazer. If anyone wants me to sponsor me for anything, I will do it. Anything doesn't matter. Whatever you're selling, I will sell it for you.
Dollar
Whatever,
Shave
just
Club.
anything. Yes.
To keep the shine going on. Nah,
Oh,
whatever.
come on, man. I have hair.
To an extent, yeah. It's fine. It's fine. So leading into this crazy triple weekend of events,
Oh yeah.
how do you feel overall about the different metagames in each of these places?
Ooh, interesting.
Okay, so that's a good question. So, after Salt Lake City, Gengar VMAX was like super popular, and then stuff like Rapid Strike Urshifu started to pop up at Liverpool regionals. Robin Schultz won, so it's almost just like whatever deck like wins a regional. The next event, people are going to try and counter that deck, and that's pretty much exactly like what has happened so far. So when it comes to something like Indianapolis regionals, I expect there to be a lot of decks that are trying to counter stuff, like the Rapid Strike Urshifu, because that deck took up 5 of the top 8 slots. Like, that is showing that that deck is incredible right now. It is a tier 1 deck. Arguably is now considered the best deck in the format. Mew is kind of, like started to slide down to like that number 2. Still is also a super strong deck, but Rapid Strike Urshifu is like really starting to become that deck where it's like we need to beat this or we need to take a 50-50 versus it. So when it comes to the regional that is coming up this week, I expect to see Rapid Strike Urshifu to still do well. But I think there are going to be some decks like the Duraludon VMAX that I think is going to show up to try
Yeah.
and counter the deck, even though I don't like necessarily think it consistently beats it, because Rapid Strike Urshifu plays basic fighting energy, so I think the matchup is still actually like relatively close. Coming to New Jersey, I have absolutely no idea. Simply because like we kind of have to wait to see what happens in Indy, and then we can really start to be like, okay, this is like the deck to beat. So for instance, if something like a Rapid Strike Urshifu wins um back-to-back events, then it's like, okay, we either have to play something that beats it, or we have to play that exact deck. So that's kind of exactly where I am right now. When it comes to my play testing, I would definitely say like Rapid Strike Urshifu is in like the top 3 decks that I will probably play, but I'm not exactly sure yet if like it is a deck that I want to bring, simply because I am like kind of afraid of, oh, like so many people are going to be putting in things like the Hoopa V in their deck, like the Dunsparce, plus the Manaphy
Dunsparce.
combo, right?
Yeah.
So like tons of people are like really going to be like trying to counter it, which is the only reason why I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to play this deck.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
mean, let
it's
me.
crazy to see how like every event leads up into the next, and it just completely shifts the metagame. And I mean, with 3 events this weekend, afterwards, that's going to be a lot to digest too. Like to go from the SPE this weekend, the two regionals. I mean, yeah, they're all in different places of the world, but I mean, we've seen it earlier how the Oceania regionals affected your decision to play Gengar at SLC.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be a weird take because people might like, oh, I like this deck from this event, I like this deck from this event. Where would you go from there, combining those like potential 3 different results into the next event afterwards?
Yeah, so that's a great question. What I would probably do is I would take the event that had like the most like prestige, because Indianapolis Regionals is going to have like 1100 to 1200 players.
I think I
So
saw
I think
1208 last night.
yeah, so like I
Ali.
think like the majority of players are going to look at that event, simply because there's so many players. When it comes to an event that's in like South America, they're maybe getting only 2 to 300 people. So I would
Mhm.
probably take something like um the Indianapolis Regionals,
More
probably
as
as
like
like
a
the main.
The
more
bigger event.
weighted, like it's more
Correct.
weighted. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
how
mean like with South America, it's weird. We had Ricardo Totti on after
Shout out to
he got
Ricardo.
after he got second place, and we learned a lot about like how bad
Mhm.
Pokemon actually is in South America. And he gave us the information that he actually borrowed all of the cards in his deck from
Yeah.
collectors.
Oh
His
wow.
Mew VMAX deck was all borrowed. It
So
was, yeah.
if
Wow.
with knowing that a lot of the players there borrowed cards from collectors because of how bad the scalping is and the production is, everything is there, I wonder how much more linear their metagame will be going into
That's a great question.
Joinville in comparison.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's a great question. And like maybe that's, like a reason why something like a Rapid Strike Malamar deck was like super big down there, simply because it's
Easily
only
accessible.
costs
Yeah.
like
Yep.
More
yeah,
affordable.
it only costs you like $20 to $30 to make. Compared to something like a Mew VMAX, which costs well over $100. So
Yeah.
their economy is obviously significantly different than ours. So I'm not entirely sure, like how that correlates, but yeah.
Yeah. They
Now, I got a
go
question.
ahead, Gazer.
Yeah. You talked about Mew VMAX, and just going back to that, you said you feel like if Urshifu was the top deck to be on the lookout for, right? Probably best deck in format right now. You feel like Mew took that step back. Now, with that being said, is there a party that says, "Hey, I should actually bring Mew to counter all the Urshifu"? Or
I don't think that Mew beats Urshifu. I think if the Mew player
oh,
plays perfectly, I think it's about 50-50.
really?
Simply because stuff like the Galarian Moltres V, the baby Moltres as well, just
The
causes
baby
a lot of
Moltres.
issues. The thought about Mew is that Mew beats the decks that are trying to counter something like the Urshifu deck. So for instance, something like a Duraludon deck that is like being play to counter something like Rapid Strike Urshifu doesn't like necessarily do super well versus Mew. So I think that Mew is in a relatively strong spot, simply because it beats the decks that are trying to beat decks like Rapid Strike Urshifu right now. So that's probably why I think like something like Mew is actually in like a relatively good spot right now, is mainly
Okay.
for that reason.
Do you feel like
Okay.
you'll see a lot more Whimsicott after Frank's run?
That's a good
Ye-
question.
Yeah. So I think that Whimsicott is going to be huge. The reasons being are this: one, the deck is relatively cheap to play.
Hmm.
That's like one thing. Second, the deck is considered to be fun, and then it is also a deck that I think that casual players are going to gravitate towards, and also there are going to be some like there are going to be some competitive players that also kind of gravitate. So I think it's kind of like starting to create like the perfect storm for this deck, where I do truly believe that Whimsicott is going to show up. Do I think the deck is very good? It's okay in my opinion.
It's okay.
I think it's a solid tier
It's
2
okay.
deck. I think that Frank did so well simply because people didn't know exactly how to play versus the deck.
Yeah.
So I think that now like now the deck has been like established as a solid deck. People are now like, okay, we need to learn exactly how to play against it, because the deck is obviously very strange. There's a lot of
Hmm.
weird cards like the EXP share in it. So that's where I think that the deck might start to struggle in the future, simply because people don't, or like people now know exactly what they should be doing against it. And like all something like a Mew deck has to do is they have to tech in something like a second psych energy, something like a like the Arceus and Teleon decks. All they need is something like an Ordinary Rod to help against that matchup. So there's a lot of like one of cards
Yeah.
that really help against something like a Whimsicott, that people are
Hmm.
now like going to put into their decks, and it's going to really hurt something like Whimsicott. But I still do think that Whimsicott is a very, very strong deck. And I think there'll be several that have a shot, like of making top 32, top 16. Maybe one will squeak into top 8. I'm not entirely sure. But I do think the deck is still strong, but just not as good as it used to be.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, in the past week too, online we've seen like these weird like Zamazenta Arceus decks pop up too, thinking like it's a hard counter to it. I'm like, but what else does that even beat though? Like, because then you still fold the Urshifu, the Moltres is just gonna take the Zamazenas down. Like, I don't know why like people instantly hop in to like attempt to play like these bizarre decks for the shock factor right after an event either. That's something that's always kind of confused me sometimes.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that Frank is a perfect example, because he's played so many weird, crazy types of decks,
Yeah.
and sometimes it has worked out for him, but there have been tons of events where he's just gotten absolutely demolished, simply because he is taking, like those, like major risks. Frank is a friend of mine, so
Yeah,
that's why
he's
that. Yeah,
partially
he's a
local. He
really close
lives
friend of
he
mine.
lives
Yeah.
about an hour away from here. He's played in cups and stuff that I've judged. So It's cool. It's cool to see him finally get that good finish after all these years of crazy deck building and everything.
Sure. Yeah, and like I'm super happy for him because he works so much of the game. So like I'm really happy to see him, finally start to break through and get like that big second place finish. He almost got the first place, but draws were not in
Mm.
like the cards for him in the finals. But obviously to make second place is like such an amazing accomplishment
Yeah.
for him.
No,
And yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah, because I actually stayed with him, and I had the Whimsicott list locked and ready to go at about 12 o'clock. And like when I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if I have the balls to play this deck. So that was honestly like the scenario where it's like I really do not, like want to take this risk because I was in a situation where getting at least top 128 would get me the stipend. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Mew,
Yeah.
try and at least
Something
go.
safe.
I'm 6-2-1 into day 2, get my stipend, and I'm happy. Trip is successful. So that was honestly like the main reason why I didn't take that risk. Maybe I should have, obviously, because he got second place, but I'm still like relatively pleased like with my deck choice for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
Yeah,
I
well, I mean, you
mean,
picked something safe, so
yeah. No,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with like you're already confident with Mew. So, why not play it at that point? Especially if like that was like your main playtesting focus leading up to it too.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you stated that Whimsicott is almost like beginner friendly for the most part.
Yes.
Like for the casual gamer,
Yeah.
they can pick up and they can be like, okay, so this goes here, and I use this attack, and you can't do any of this. I mean, it's like not super big brain where
It's not big.
it's easier for someone to pick up and start playing. So we might see a little bit this weekend, right? Might see a couple of them.
Oh yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of them. I think that out of like the top 5 or 10 decks, I think it's gonna be probably the third or fourth most played deck, simply because it's cheap, fun, and casuals are really gonna gravitate towards the deck because it's a pretty funky deck, right?
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of weird stuff that you can do using things like Fluffball V Star is one of the funniest attack names like we have seen. So yeah, I think the deck like is
I mean,
really gonna like gravitate.
Fluffball V-Star is a good attack name, but I mean, Fluff gets in the way. You can't
Oh
top
yeah,
that
so
attack
Yeah, I
name.
know it's got cuteness and even the attack name, so it's
Fluff gets in the way. You're like,
that
oh,
that leads into like that gave me another idea for a question is that like since you said it's beginner friendly, easier to play, how do you feel about the difficulty of piloting the Urshifu list and how many people are going to potentially play it and fail with that list?
that's a great question. I think 70% of the people that have not actually put like at least 30 to 40 games into it should not play that deck. Like if you don't feel 100% confidence in your matchups with that deck and you know exactly what or like and you don't know exactly what you should be doing in certain matchups every single turn, please do not play that deck because that deck is hard to play. Um and I think it's the second hardest deck to play in the format simply because you have, like so many like routes of plays. It's like, do I go
yeah.
in with something like the Moltres? Do I, like push for something like a yoga loop? When do I use my like my one prizers? Like there's so many like situations where you have to make very like precise decisions. And if you make a misplay at one point, your entire board state can just absolutely crumble. So I think that you really want to test the deck at least, like 50 to 100 games first, like know exactly what you should be doing. And then the deck makes a really strong choice. But if you have any um, sorts of doubts, in your capabilities when it comes to playing that deck, I would recommend against it. I just think the deck is, like really hard to play. And it's even a deck where I'm just like, oh my God, like what do I do in this
Yeah,
situation?
the amount of
But
options like it sometimes
yeah.
feels like it's a little overwhelming sometimes.
So you guys hear that? If you have any doubt in the deck that you're playing, not just this Urshifu deck, but any deck at all, call Gabe Smart. He'll coach you up. He'll walk you through it. He'll take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I can definitely like help you guys on exactly how like you should play certain matchups. And yeah, so like honestly, that was like the main reason why I played something like Mew. It was just like I feel comfortable with that deck. So
Hmm.
knowing to play your like your comfort deck and always having that as like your second option is something that's like really important, and that I would say was one of like the main reasons why I was like able to get top 64 at EUIC was mainly because I had like that fallback deck where I was like, okay, I'm going to test stuff, like the rapid strike decks, and like I was like, okay, I don't necessarily feel like super comfortable playing that deck because I actually almost play that deck as well. It's just that I was just like, I don't feel, like super comfortable with this deck. I'm gonna choose my comfort choice in Mew, and see exactly how it goes. Get worked out, obviously, at that time. But yeah, comfort picks are always super important. Always have that
Yes.
deck where it's like, I can fall back to this, and I know I can still do well because I know exactly, like what I need to do in like specific matchups. So yeah,
Yeah,
always have that
I
comfort.
Mew.
want to touch on that a little bit,
Yeah, no,
and I
Mew's
want to
my
ask you too, Sue.
fallback for sure. If I
I was just
can't,
about to ask you.
yeah,
I was about to ask
if
you.
I
What's
can't
yours?
make my decision, probably by like Wednesday night, Thursday at the absolute latest,
Just grabbing Mew.
I'm just gonna grab Mew and play it for all I care at this
You
point.
come on. No, I was gonna say. I was gonna ask. Well, I was gonna say that comfortability is very important, and I don't have the extensive experience that you two have. I've been playing, in real life just, recently for, few weeks. I've been playing online for a little bit, but if you know your matchups, that means you have to play test. You have to test a lot, but if you know your matchups and you're comfortable with that deck, you can do pretty decent. Online, Steuben, this my go-to deck was for a while was Genku, right? Gengar
Oh
Mimikyu.
yeah, dude, I remember that deck.
Yeah,
That
you
was
remember those
really
times.
nice.
And people played it horribly and people couldn't do well with it, but I actually did decent with it because I knew my matchups, I knew my outs, and just because I played it so much and I was comfortable with it. Um, IRL, I've been playing only single strike. It's the only deck I have, single strike. But I played it so much now. I know my matchups, I know my outs, I know what I need to do, what I can't do, how to play. It's so that comfortability is important. So, Stu, I was going to ask, what's your thoughts on comfortability with a deck? And if now you said it, your fallback deck would be Mew, if anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's always kind of been like, not. I'm not like the most competitive player, when it comes to like the regionals and stuff. I've always just either judged or I've just gone and just had fun and met people and had a lot of fun that way. But I wanted, like I said, we wanted to take it seriously, and then pandemic happened and cut us off. So I've been kind of try-harding it, like locally testing and playing with like our testing group, and our one dude Brock Parch has this awesome deck list, and like it's really cool, and
You don't feel comfortable
I
taking it?
don't feel comfortable taking it
No?
because it just it's so wild. So I
Hey,
don't.
sometimes that works.
Yeah, I
We
don't.
just talked about Frank. Look at Frank.
Mhm. I don't feel like it's the
You could be the next
play
Frank.
for me. No, I'm definitely not like that at all whatsoever. But I want to have
So,
fun.
question to you then.
That's more important, honestly. Just have
That's
fun,
true.
meet people. It's my first event
Your
back.
first regional in a while, so yeah,
It's been a few
true,
years, so
true. So then, Gabe, question to you: what's your fallback? Is it just Mew? Is that your fallback as well, or what?
Mew's my fallback. Yeah. So for
Mhm.
instance, for this event that is coming up, I'm going to test everything that isn't Mew. And if I find something that I'm like, this deck is broken, then I'm going to play it. And if I can't find something that like I truly like, then I'll just play Mew. Like I'll say
Okay.
that, to be 100% honest with you. Simply because I know exactly like how to sequence it. For the most part, I actually think that Mew is the hardest deck to play in the format,
yeah.
simply because there's just so much sequencing that is involved. When you're drawing 15 to 20 cards a turn, it's like, oh, do I use my Rotom Foam first? Use my Chromatic first? Use my Quick Ball? It truly is the deck where it's almost impossible to play it like 100% right, but I feel confident enough to play at a level where I think I could do okay with it. So that is, going to be my fallback option. I can say it right now. I'll probably test, like 2 to 3 um like different decks. Like I'll probably test something like Ravishing Urshifu, something like the Arceus variants. And then if I'm like, okay, like I like one of those decks, then sure, like I'll play that. But if I'm
If
like,
not,
okay, I don't necessarily feel, like super comfortable with that deck, then I'll just play something like Mew. That's just my fallback option.
Yeah, it's nice to have like a safety net, I guess. Because it definitely
Yeah.
like as much as I would love to play something different and off the wall and just go for it, like if I don't feel confident, then I'm gonna have a bad time. Like if you're not confident, even if you're not trying to win the event, you're not gonna have fun. And you're gonna have like the negative mindset of like, oh god, this deck I hate it. The whole, if you do that the whole weekend, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah, and I would say like Mew for the European international championships. I don't necessarily think it was like a super strong play. I hit a lot of matchups that were considered hard, but simply because I knew exactly how to play against those, I was, like able to make them at least like 50-50, which was like another reason why I started off 701 was, like simply because I was, like I was hitting those like I was hitting like those harder matchups, but since I knew exactly like what I was supposed to do, and also since Mew is just, like super, super consistent, I was, like kind of like um I guess just like able to figure it out. So, like it worked out for sure. But yeah, always having that comfort pick is the most important thing. So
So
that's how I
besides from a
feel about
comfort pick, if you could give
it.
any piece of advice to people who are going to their first big event, because I mean, like with 1,200 players for Indy, there's got to be at least half of that population all first timers. If there's
Yes,
Has to
if
be.
there's
it,
any
Has to
bit
be.
of advice that you want to give to people that you know don't want to charge them for at this point, because it's
uh,
good information, what would you want
I
to
give out
tell
great
these
information all the time.
players?
Sleep. Do not be like me and get 2 to 3 hours of sleep. Get 7 to 8 hours. Like for Salt Lake City, combined for day one and day two, I gotta combine like 7 hours of sleep. Um don't do that. I would say um get your sleep. Also, don't be afraid to call like judges when you think to need them. They are here for that exact reason. So I would not like hesitate if you have like a certain question about something. Always, like be like, hey, like I want to ask the judge about this, etc., etc. So I think that sleep and also I would just say, like have fun, right? Because like if it's your first event, the very first, like regional experience is just truly surreal. So that's what I would say. It's just like enjoy the moment. Take it all in. That's what I would have to say.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Even if you don't think you're going to perform well, just go anyways, have fun, and worst case scenario, you're going to meet a lot of people. If you've
Yeah,
been
you meet
playing
so many amazing
if you've been
people.
playing online, you're going to meet content creators, you're going to meet people from chats
Yeah.
from YouTube and the comment section everywhere. And like it's I feel like these now are going to be more like social gatherings at least this season for a lot of people. Like we've all been cooped up and locked away and I mean, we're
Yeah.
all like foaming at the mouth to get there.
I know for me that if I was going to any regional this year, that would be my thing. Just I'm gonna go have fun, and I'm gonna see this guy, and I know that girl, I know him and her, and just that's
That's the
have a good
best thing
time.
about it is that
I
yeah, you
started to
meet
prep
people.
my sheep box today.
Oh, that's right. You're taking that to Indy
So
with you. That's
yeah,
right.
somebody come get some Marith and Flaffies and Ampharos, and we'll do it alone. I'm gonna have a
Now,
good
do you
time.
sign the sleeve or do you sign the card?
I mean, I'll do whatever they want. I don't care. If you're going out of your way to come talk to me after like hanging out with us online for the past 2 years, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. I don't care.
Mhm.
Don't take that out of
Yeah.
context.
You guys heard it here. Steuben will do whatever you want if you come talk to him. Just come and say, "Hey, Steuben, no request is off the table." What do
I
you want
don't
to say?
I don't think that no further comments.
Now,
Oh man.
I had the opportunity to do that when I met Gabe. I was like, "Hey, this is the guy I seen online." I talked to him, and I went and met him. I was like, I was starstruck. I'm like, that's Gabe Smart. And I ran into Gabe. It's funny, Stu. I ran into Gabe a few times during a Players Cup. I think one. So we're
Yes.
grinding out Players Cup one tourneys, and then
I hit you in a must-win situation where if I did not win, I was not going to qualify. I'm being
really
1000% honest with you. It was in a finals of my final
final
yeah.
ticket.
It was my final ticket and I hit you and I was like this literally determines whether or not I qualify because I'm the first because like the second one I just had a terrible run. Like I was just like losing to dead draws all the time and I was just in like that last situation where I hit you, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna lose to Gazer B and not
What were you
qualify."
playing? What were you? I don't remember what you
That's a
played.
good. I think in my last one I played
He was laughing at me.
ADP's Asian. Oh,
He was, I'm gonna lose the Gazer beam. No, not Gazer.
it was Senna Scorch versus ADP's Asian, and that was one of the most terrifying matches of my life was playing against you in the finals of that pod.
Yeah, I remember. early Players Cup, I played a lot of Center Scorch and a lot of Dragapult. And I had a weird Center Scorch list that worked for me, but no one else thought it was going to work. It was remember the Salazzle? You could discard a fire energy and draw 3 cards. Roast reveal.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, that's a fun
I
one.
played it with that, and people were like, "It's so weird," but it was working, and it got me wins. And I ran into you like maybe 2 times, 3 times, whatever it was. But yeah, I remember that game.
Like 2 or 3 times, and in like the span of like I think there were 4 player cups, right? There was 4,
Yeah, they did 4.
The span of 4, yeah. It was the second one that was the really scary one for me, but yeah.
How does
Yeah, I
it
ran into
feel
this
to be the
guy
only
and-
person to
Sorry.
say that you were afraid to lose to Gazer Beam there for a minute?
Not Gazer, man. Anyone but Gazer.
It was incredibly funny at the time. So
That's
it's just
awesome.
like, yeah. It
Yeah.
was fun.
At that time, his name was he's gone through 3 different name changes.
I think I was Gabriel Smart TCG at that point, and then I transitioned to Smart TCG.
Or TCG.
I've been a bunch of I've been a bunch
Yeah.
of things, but it's been like one of those 2 for the past like year and a half.
Year, I think about a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Stu, my dumb self, when I first met him, he was like, was it Gray Bees?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I read it as Gary Bees. Gary B.
So
B.
that's
Easy or
why
something
you
like that.
always call him
Oh,
that
he
now.
called me
Oh,
Gary B. Yeah,
I get it now.
pronunciation.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where the hell is this coming
Yeah.
from?
Yeah.
I read it as Gary B. Easy. I'm like, okay, guys, we're going up against Gary B. Easy. So
I
I've seen
mean,
that guy around.
Gazer, how
somewhere.
many
Okay.
names have you butchered though over the
Oh,
past few years?
tons,
Yeah.
tons.
So I
yeah.
mean, whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
So it's always gonna be Gary B. Easy to me. That's my boy, man. That's Gabe.
I'm glad you guys have that PC2 moment.
yeah.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
That was legendary. I'll never forget that one.
I must defeat Gazer Beam. Meanwhile, I'm probably on like ticket 30, just having a good time, just vibing out. Like, all right.
Oh yeah.
Ticket number 30. Here we go.
I think was it 2 or 3 that I was Robin Hooding my my keys.
Is that 3? You just
It might have been 3. I
People
think.
would just hop into a tournament and just take a win.
Yeah, I would just
Here, take a
I
win.
Robin Hooded every key. I didn't care at that point. At PC2,
Here, you take a win.
PC2 drove me nuts because I played Luke Metal for half of them, and I wanted to just I was like, I'm done. I hate this. I'm done. And then 3 came, and I'm like, I didn't want these keys. I'm just gonna give them away to everybody else. Enjoy your points. Good luck. Have fun. I couldn't take it anymore. I like deep down, like I kind of hate PTCGO and playing online. Today I played in 2 team challenges and I got second in both of them because I opened hands full of supporters.
Sounds like best.
Best of one, ironic, and the part that add the insult to the injury in the first team challenge qualifier, I played against a gentleman who was playing Ice Rider. I wiped the floor with him. Whatever. It was quick and easy. He conceded super quick after I knocked out his Ice Rider with a boss. And then in the second team challenge qualifier, it was he and I in the end in the finals, and I bricked. Like he bricked in the last one, I bricked in the next one. I was like, I'm done. I'm over this. I'm not trying anymore. I think today's the last day for him, anyways, or whatever. So.
Probably.
Oh shoot, I have points I gotta pick up.
It's only the
I didn't play.
They're the only ones I played in were today. I didn't even bother the entire time. I was like, they need people.
I did one for Lorelei, for Led Gengar. I did one for her. I meant to hop in her second one, but I didn't get a chance to. But I hopped in one. I took second place, so got some prizing to pick up.
Okay. So we've pretty much covered all the stuff I wanted to at this point. So, Gazer, it's all up to you now. Carry us.
You want, first off, you want Gazer to carry something?
I've asked all the questions I wrote down. So yes, Gazer,
You want Gazer?
Gazer, take the wheel.
Oh my gosh, I played basketball yesterday. I carried one of my teams one time, so I mean, I guess I could do it again. No, just Gabe, let's get your final thoughts or anything else you want to speak on about the regionals coming up, Indy, Jersey, anything.
Yeah.
Like, what are you most excited for? What are you most nervous about? If anything, you're probably not nervous. You're capable, smart. So.
I would probably say I'm most excited to see what new decks, start to come out of these events. I still think that the format can change a little bit more. Like I think we've, really figured out exactly what the top 3 to 4 decks are. But I'm curious to see if there's any more type of, whimsicott-ish, type decks that people were like, wow, I wasn't expecting that deck to do well. That is honestly one of the things, because I would like to see some type of shake up in the meta game. where like something like a Whimsicott deck says I'm a rogue deck, but I can still do like super well. So that would be like one of the things I'm most excited to see. Like to see. And then yeah, like the traveling will be fun. Like I'm excited to see like new places and hopefully do semi okay.
Now, talking about the travel, what was Germany like? Was that your first time there?
Yeah, so it was my first time there. It was super clean. Like that was honestly like um one of, like the nicest things. Like I didn't see like a piece of trash on the ground, like not even like a napkin on the ground. Like it was just like absolutely spotless. I definitely would say that I didn't get to see too much of it because I got in like on Wednesday and then I was just like super tired. So like I kind of just, slept and relaxed. And then Thursday I spent just like grinding and grinding, just like playing like tons of games out. And
Mhm.
then Friday I played, and then Saturday I played, and then I left on Sunday, so like, I necessarily didn't get to see like a whole lot. But the food was good. But yeah, like honestly, the one thing that kind of made me laugh was there was a place that charged water, and it was I think it was like $6 per like glass or something like that. Like it was a lot. So that was like the first thing where I was like, I'm paying $6 for like a couple glasses of water. That was the first thing where I was like, wow, this is like I'm significantly different. But yeah, like other than that, like it was a fantastic experience, and like I
Wait a
was,
second.
like super grateful to go. And London's in I think like 3 months, so I'm excited to see like a different part of the European continent. So yeah.
Subin, did he say $6 for a glass of water?
I
Oh
heard,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
it's was it a fancy
I looked at the
restaurant?
check and I was, it was like I don't know, maybe like a tier D or like it was maybe like $30 for a steak. Like necessarily like wasn't
Not
I
that
like
didn't get a good review on Yelp, huh?
expensive.
No.
But yeah, like I was looking at it and I was like, $6 for water. I've never seen that before.
yeah, I think that's just
So
kind
that
of
was
customary to be honest. Like my stepdad was in the army and he always said like yeah, when you're overseas, there's not you don't tip and think nothing is always free. So like how here we get like water and like bread like complimentary or whatever. Like now you pay for that overseas for the most part.
Oh my
yeah, yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, you pay for everything over there apparently. So
And you
Yeah.
don't tip, huh?
No, not always.
I
Not
mean,
every
you
country.
can. We actually asked that question at a restaurant, and they said like you don't necessarily have to, but like it's something that they do like appreciate. But we actually did like ask that exact question to someone. We were like, hey, like, are we supposed to tip them or not? Which like so we ended up like finding
Yeah,
out like
I I think they mostly get
considered
like
rude not
actual
to.
like a real wage for like working service industry
Oh
compared to
yeah,
here, like where you get
Subin
like
yeah.
taking
So we
shots
paid
at
$4
America?
an
oh
hour.
I mean the whole tipping situation where everyone gets paid like less than minimum wage at these restaurants and stuff here in the States, it's honestly not the right way to do it. It's just not. Those people are putting the same amount of work and time, if not
Yeah.
more, into people who have like a normal 9 to 5 or whatever, and they get like the
No,
worst. They get the worst of it too.
the theory is they make it up, with tips and things like that. But
Not
that's
all.
not
It's
always
not.
true.
No, no. You could have a
No.
super bad day, or business could be slow, and then like, oh cool, you made $1.75 for 8 hours each hour. Like it's
Yeah.
not.
Imagine.
So
I
like
had a
with
friend who relied on that,
yeah
and yeah, like, there were some days where he would like walk home with like $15 after like an 8 hour shift. Like, dude, like, yeah, like relying on
yeah,
tips. is rough.
it's rough. But speaking of finances, how do you manage to budget yourself for all of these events that you go to?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a question I've been asked a lot, because I'm going to pretty much, like all of these tournaments. The
Everything.
first thing
Yeah.
is living at home. The second thing is I'm saving for an entire year. I, like basically told myself I was like when the season like starts to come around, I want to see exactly how I do, and I'm willing to do, like whatever it takes to try and like maximize, like my potential as a player. And after I got top 8 at Salt Lake City, I was like, okay, like I can, like hopefully do it. And then I got 37th at like EOIC. But when it comes to financing, that's a good question. I typically like to stay with people
Hmm.
when it comes to like going, yeah, to like regionals. I think I stayed with like think I stayed with like 5 people for Europe, so that's like a really good way to cut down costs for sure. But like I try to be smart. I try to wait and see exactly like when flights are like at like their like their very lowest. That is like one of like the most important things for sure.
Clever, clever.
But I definitely will say I could be significantly smarter when it comes to um financing myself. I will say these first like 2 to 3 events, I definitely have splurged significantly more. But as of right now, I'm still in the green. Um, Once I get like my stipend money and stuff like that, I'll still be in the green actually, which is like super surprising to me because I was not expecting to actually do that because when it comes to it, like you can't make your entire living off like competitive winnings. You need to have sponsorships, you need to have like like social media outlets, et cetera, because you have to have like tons of ways to make funds because just like spending like $500 to go to a regional, plus you have plus you also probably have to spend like on hotels and like
Yeah.
food, et cetera, et cetera. You're probably getting up to like $800 or $900 at the end of the day, which is basically saying I have to top 8 or better every single event to
Every
be able
time.
to yeah, like to make that money back. So I would just have to say like you definitely have to be smart about it, and you like if you truly want to do this, you have to have different sources of income when it comes to like yourself as a player. Like I know like coaching has been a huge help. That is like one source of income. When it comes to sponsorships, that's another source of income. So you really have to start to combine them all into one, and that's how someone like Azul is able to do it full time. He can go to he can like hop on a plane to Germany if he wants to. Like it's just like you need to have tons of sources of income to be able to do this full time, and it's hard. It is like 100% hard. And I don't know exactly, like how long like I'm going to be able to do it, but like I'm super thankful that I have the opportunity to at least try it right now and see exactly, like where it takes me. But yeah, like it is hard.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, enjoy the ride while you can.
Yeah.
You don't like say you don't know how long it's going to happen, but I mean, as long as you can keep doing it, you have the support of your parents now who kind of understand what you're doing now. They kind of get
They're
it.
like, oh yeah,
So
like you brought home a couple $1,000s, to
go.
hold on, like
Okay.
it's okay.
It was worth you going to Germany then. Keep going. So yeah,
Yeah.
the fact you have their support, you're still at home, and you still have a chance to do it, and you're just adding more revenue, hopefully through YouTube, through Twitch. You get more
Yeah.
sponsorships, things like that. Do it as long as you can, man, and keep going. And we'll support you. I got your back.
Thank you. Yeah, so
That's
honestly,
25
like
cents, man.
yeah, so like honestly, like one of like the most important things that, or I guess like my type of like business philosophy right now is that I'm spending money to hopefully make it back in the future.
Hmm.
So that's like where like someone like Azul lost like lots of money, but he just kept going after. He just kept grinding. Like he kept himself like super like um humble, I would say. And now, like he's doing like super, super well. So it's just like
Yeah.
my like theory is that like you have to invest something to make something back. And that's, kind of like the transition period I'm in right now where I'm, trying to, put, like those chips forward and see exactly where they land. And if it doesn't work out, then like I got school, like I got yeah, I can go back to work and stuff like that. Like I for
Right,
sure
right.
do
Yeah.
not
Blood,
finish
sweat,
doing that.
tears, time, and money, basically.
A lot of
Yes, that's
Yeah.
stuff.
exactly what it
Because
is.
like,
A
Blood,
lot
sweat,
of
because
tears,
stuff.
money.
like you're not gonna win them all, and like
Yeah.
I mean, people have won back to back events and all, but like
It's
they
so
they
hard though.
haven't
You
won
can't
them
expect
all. They
that.
have like I don't think there's anybody who's ever like had like the hottest streak ever as a Pokemon player.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, I could go 0-4 this weekend and be like, well, shit, like now I'm down $1,000, and then like the next week I can go 0-3. I'm like, well, there's another $800,
Yeah.
etc. Right?
There's so many
So like,
variables. Anything can happen.
you really
Just
have
it's
to
it's
think
it's
about
anything
it.
can happen. That's the part that sucks. But I mean, we love this card game though. We love this game.
Oh yeah, it is like a drug. Like I just need more fitness.
that's how I felt
And
the entire time during pandemic with like not even locals. I was fiending just to be like,
yeah,
can we
just
can we
fiending
do
just to play
anything? Can we?
those cards,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
Well, my local had a winner box this weekend. You know, playing the tournament, I think it was 7 rounds, and top player wins a box, right? If not, you get a pack for every win you get. And I've been doing pretty decent lately. You know, 3-1, 3-0. You know, I was like, I'm pretty hot. I should play. And then my stepdaughter had a basketball game. I'm like,
yeah, blame Anaya. Yeah, blame Anaya. It's all her fault. Yeah, totally.
If not, I would have been right in there.
Yeah,
I would have been right in there. But I'm like, I better support my stepdaughter. But man, I'd love to be at this winner box. But I signed up for the pre-release though, so I'll be at pre-release. It's at the 13th. Doing a pre-release tournament at that midnight, so I'll be there for that one. Then the following winner box, maybe it'll be Astral Radiance. Who knows?
I'm not sure. I'd have to talk to Reggie about it.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad you guys can like link up and play locally together. That's super awesome. It's probably really good. It's really good for Gazer to have someone that's like solid there to be like, all right, cool. What can I do better? Like, and you actually get like the hands-on experience too in that regards.
True.
So
yeah, next time you come get, I'm gonna ask you every single question. Why'd you play that? Why'd you do that? What's this? What's there? So when you come into Cali, man?
Maybe in September.
Hey,
we're thinking about it. That's when she can finally
we do the podcast live with each other. What?
Yeah, we can. Goodmind told us we can crash with him. So, like, it's not.
He's in LA, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, so like, if we're going to California, we're gonna go up and down the whole state. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But now let's do some stonks. This is a segment where we go over the potential financial values of cards and/or the playability stonks. I have 2 kind of dumb ones to talk about money wise.
I have 2, and they're kind of they're kind of molded into one. Gabe, so this is your chance to come up with any cards you think will see more playability, in the upcoming weeks, or they think it's going to go up in value in the upcoming weeks. Any cards like that. So, Subin, what do you have for us, man?
So surprisingly, this caught me off guard. I was looking today.
Okay.
Regular Cincenos from Sword and Shield base set are sitting at $2.50 a piece.
Hold on a second.
That used to be like a 20-cent card, right?
It was literally quarters or 50 cents 2 weeks ago.
Is it because I don't know why exactly they're going up. There isn't necessarily any deck that plays.
Like people were playing it with Malamar, but also Inteleon with Malamar at the same. So like, there's both of those builds.
Trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. That it's that much.
So if I see one for like $1, I better grab it, huh?
I don't know.
We have Lipard.
No, Lipard exists, and Lipard's like a quarter for the non-hollow. Like
I got Lipard recently for like 50 cents. That was a reverse hollow for like 50 cents. So yeah,
I feel like.
But I mean, I guess the thing with Cincino, I guess it's a level ball searchable, so everybody's on it for that.
Yeah, and I mean the new Mincino from Astral Radiance has like Call for Family or whatever it is, or Find a Friend or whatever. So, but again, like I don't see that being like relevant, and I don't know why it went up that high out of nowhere.
$2.
So if you find them in your quarter boxes at your locals, I guess buy them.
Snag them up.
And then the other one I wanted to point out is that Arceus V-Star and V are both trending downwards in value.
Arceus?
Are they really?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I think it's because of that promo box that's coming out.
Well, the V-Star is not getting a reprint. It's just the V.
Yeah, just the V. Yeah.
So the regular V from the set is less than 10 on average as of today on TCGplayer. And the V-Star finally broke below $30 a piece. And they were sitting at 35 for the longest time. So
they were.
Interesting to see that it's on a downward trend. Is it could have something to do with all the Urshifu floating around that people are like, all right, I'm afraid to buy it now. Well, Mew has stayed stable in price. So
better get mine now, so I can probably play something besides Single Strike. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's it for me on the finances. Gazer, take it away.
Playability wise, this sounds odd, but I think it's a medical. I called Charizard a couple weeks ago. I was wrong on that one, and then I called Manaphy, and I was right on Manaphy. This one, I think I might be right on this one too. Duraludon. I think Duraludon sneaks back in, and with that being said, I think Single Strike Mustard might make an appearance sometime this weekend or so. The reason being, Urshifu was going to see an uptick, and yes, Urshifu plays regular fighting energy and regular dark energy. Yes, that happens, but it limits their ability to use the rapid strike energy, right? If there's any single strikers in play, Duraludon takes care of that. Mew VMAX is not going to play its own path to the peak, so you don't have to worry about that. I just feel like Duraludon could see some play just based off of those things. And then Mustard's been a real cheeky way to get it out recently. Like you try to play a Mustard your first turn or second turn, and then you're sitting with maybe two Duraludons on the bench, and for your opponent to have to go through two Duraludons and have to find all their path to the peaks and all their shred attacks and all that stuff, it's a little more difficult. And yeah, it takes a while to charge up, and it's slower, but you're tanking off attacks. Nothing's touching you. So I feel like that could see some play, maybe. I don't know. And then with the Whimsicott too, the DTE energy, I don't know. Duraludon. I'm calling Duraludon.
Yeah, I just looked up Duraludon real quick. It's actually at its all-time low for the VMAX on
How much is it
TCGplayer.
right now? It's been like
Lowest
10,
lowest
11.
listing is 322. There's
Oof.
a handful under $4. A lot of them close to $3 with $1 shipping. So yeah, they were close to $10, $11 for
They were
a
like
hot
they were
minute.
like, oh, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
actually when I bought them. So now I feel really stupid about spending because I actually had I don't think I've ever taken them out of my binder. They've just been, kind of sitting there, but maybe I'll take them out of my binder this week for Indie. Never know.
Might change your mind last second. Gabe, is there any card that you think is on the rise or we should be on the lookout for?
Ooh, that is a good question. I have to go through the catalog of thousands of cards now. Yeah, what I would probably say is I think that Hoopa V has a potential to go up in price, simply because like the
Ooh, good
Arceus
call.
Dark decks can just slap in a Hoopa V, super good versus their Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. So if we see that card do like super well, people are gonna start to buy like tons of them because they're so cheap, which might like start to inflate the price a little bit. And I do think other cards like the Manaphy are probably also going to see a rise as well
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Kinda like
I
I did
called
a couple
Manaphy
weeks
last
ago.
week.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely
It's
hit on Manaphy.
Yeah.
the Hoopa V. I liked that card when it came out. It's just it was so awkward to charge up. I like the fact that it hit for two relevant weaknesses
Yeah.
at the time, and then Mew came out and became even more relevant. But it's so awkward to charge up. But I mean, Mew didn't come out, but Mew gained a whole lot of traction. It just became even more relevant. But I feel like when Dark Patch comes out, you might want to grab those Hoopa Vs now while they're cheap. You're right. I
Yeah.
have one. I got one for my shop for like $2.
Yeah,
I probably need to go back and try to get the rest of them.
looking at the value of Hoopa, the V is floating between $1 to $1.25, like the promo one from the box. But the full art from the set is between 4 and 5, trending upwards.
Yep.
What did
So
I grab?
so
I think I grabbed the
grab your
promo for like $2.
promos while they're about $1.50. You heard it here first.
I grabbed the
Pokestonks.
promo for $2, so I feel kind of dumb now.
No, I feel like it'll go over $2 if it sees success. It's those boxes are already out of print, so I mean, like, you can't really like walk into a normal hobby shop that has small allocations now and find those. So
Hey, let me get that Hoopa V box. Yeah, no
yeah,
more of that.
yeah, you might get lucky and find like your Walmart, your Target, or your Myers or something or whatever. But who knows?
That Hoopa box came out with the Dragonite box too, right? So I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
out of print too.
Yeah, the same time. Yeah, and Dragonite, like
R.I.P.
when it blew up a little bit online with expanded, it went from like $1, $2 to 3 or 4. And it kind of went back down a little bit again, but
R.I.P. Dragonite.
Any
All
other
right, Stu. Moving
stonks?
on. Yeah, stonks. We're done with that. Are we
Cool.
ready for the Q&A?
Yeah. All right, time for the Q&A from the chat question. Oh my god, the chat section. Wow, brain farts. Anyways, the first question is from Bad Robot Guy. What card in Astral Radiance are you most excited about?
Dark Patch.
I think Gazer's on the Dark Patch wagon.
I'm with Dark Patch.
Yeah,
I'm with Dark Patch.
I really like Palkia, but Dark Patch is number 2. I've always loved like water decks, and seeing that like it's a big water accelerator, I'm cool with it. Second question is from Kapow. Can you make money winning Pokemon tournaments at the moment, especially with travel and accommodations being so expensive? We kind of touched on this a little bit, but
So your question is, how do you handle it? I guess being so expensive.
yeah, we'll go with that.
I guess if it's profitable, I guess it's like really. Is it worth it? I don't know.
So about probably 2 years ago, flights to like somewhere could be like $300-$400, maybe even $200 if you get lucky. Now it's $700-$800 right now. Since obviously there have been some conflicts overseas that hopefully get resolved soon. But I mean, the only way to like compensate for everything being more expensive is just to work twice as hard. I mean, that's honestly where like I have been. It's just like, well, I guess I have to spend, like $600 to go here. Guess I have to work, like significantly more hours, and it sucks right now. I will like 100% say that travel is not very um forgiving for people. So the best thing that I would probably do is try and drive to regionals if you can.
Yeah.
Like, like take, like that 7 hour drive and setting like that 2 hour flight, because you're gonna save so much money from that. Because like even like the short flights are just so expensive right now too, where I'm just like, oh my god, like I can't. Yeah, so it's honestly tough right now. I honestly think that waiting is like a perfectly acceptable thing, simply because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world that hopefully like gets resolved soon, which will drive back down the prices, because the prices should not be this high. Like I think there was like a statistic
Everything.
that said where like plain ticket prices are up like 40-45%, like at the very least, which is just disgusting. So hopefully it goes down.
I think everything's hurting that aspect right now with what's going on. I think just prices and everything just it's getting so bad. You gotta keep top aiding, Gabe, so you can take care of stuff.
The plan.
Shall I move on to the next question, Steuben?
No, one thing. My like for indie, like the most expensive thing for me is just gonna be the entry fee, because it's a 4.5 5 hour drive. There's 6 of us in 2 rooms that are booked together through a duplex. We're splitting gas between 2 cars, so I mean like it's not gonna be crazy
That's a
expensive.
smart way to do it. That's
Yeah.
a
So
smart way to do it.
carpool, room
Listen to
together.
Ben.
Yeah,
That's a smart way
yeah.
to do it.
Okay, now what's the plan for food for you guys?
Oh, I splurge on food. That's just me.
He said that's the one thing I spend on. That's the one thing.
That's the one thing. Yeah. Like, I'll go out to like a nice steak dinner for sure, but that's just, like I don't like necessarily like get to see like some of these friends every single month. So
Yeah.
it's
Don't
just
have a
like,
good
hey,
time like that.
like
I
I
get
want to
that.
go and have a
Yeah.
good
The
time.
last
Yeah.
time I went to Indy, I think we ate at the Hard Rock Cafe because it was like within walking distance. And then I mean like I got a steak that night. It was good times.
Now I know your fiance. I know Emily. She loves herself some food. So
Yes.
you gotta treat her right while you're
Well,
out there, right?
she's not going, sadly. She just started her job, so she couldn't get the Friday off.
She
and
loves food. What do you got to bring back something then, Stu?
she'll be at NAIC with me though, so
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, next question.
yeah,
Shall
go
I move
for it.
on?
Yeah.
Okay. This came from Bad Robot Guy. What are your thoughts on Whimsicott? Do you hate it, love it, or are you indifferent to it?
Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, sometimes it depends on the hammer flips, whether they go your way or not. It's like, wow, this deck's really good, or wow, this deck is terrible. No,
I hate
but
this deck.
actually, like, to be quite honest with you, I think it's a fine play for Indianapolis. Like, I think it's like acceptable. I would say I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's strong, but my concern is that people are going to add in, like more basic energies into their deck to try and like counter them. So I'm indifferent, I guess. Like I'm kind of in the middle. So yeah.
I think it's okay. What do you think, Stu?
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. We talked about it earlier. If you're comfortable with it, play it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have a couple other questions. Are we reading these? They're funny.
They're
They're hilarious. But are we reading these?
I mean, I'll read this one. This is from Pasmatute, Puppetoot himself. If you were to cast an official Pokemon event with the great streamer trainer Chip, what Pokemon pin would you have on your suit? If you were asked to replace Hegster tomorrow for
I don't think I'd ever be in that spot as of right now.
hypothetically, whatever.
But hypothetically speaking, I would say I really like the Mew pin. I think it was it Chip that had it on, or was it Joe? I think it was Joe that had a yeah, who had like a Mew pin on. I really like that.
I think Chip had Celebi for EUIC on.
Someone had Mew on, and I thought
and
that was
then
really cool.
I think the last time for SLC Chip had Caterpie, then Butterfree.
I didn't see Caterpie and Butterfree.
Yeah, I think he flip flopped.
Caterpie and Butterfree?
That was for SLC or whatever. But yeah, the Celebi. The Celebi. Yeah, I have a lot of pins.
I'd have to think about that more, but like that's just gonna be like my
I'll probably have that new Lucario drip, the one that just came out. I'll probably wear that one.
Oh, maybe that one. That one's good.
Drip
too,
it up real
yeah.
quick. Like, hey,
Those ones are too
yeah.
big. Those new ones they've been putting in these boxes are kind of too big because they have 2 pins, man. Like, there's too much going on in the backgrounds of those things. All right, we have one final question, and this is from Zeno Omni. Does Gabe coach with single strike Urshifu?
These are the questions
I
people
know
want to
that
know. These are the
person. That's a
answers.
joke.
Oh, it's a joke. Okay, elaborate.
Yeah. So basically, the joke is when I started coaching, like 90% of my clients were like, "Hey, I want single strike coaching." So it was just so that's a deck like I really know. So if you need help with like your single strike Earthstream decks or your Gengar deck, I'm the guy because I've done a insane amount of and like coaching on that deck. It's I've done so much on it. It's almost hilarious. So
Even
that's what
like
I would say.
recently, as it's like kind of fallen out of favor a little bit.
Recently, no, but probably like a month and a half ago, it was like 3 hours a day of single strike coaching. Like,
Whew. Oh
I
man.
mean, that's like I said, that's all I play in real life because that's all I could afford at the time. I can, if I sat there and order things from TCGplayer, I could, but I'm just like, I have this. I'll keep playing, see if I like it. And I like playing in real life, so I'm like, I got to get more cards. But in the meantime, that's all I have. So I've learned to play it pretty well, pretty decently. It's honestly, Gabe, it's not a terrible call meta wise. Honestly.
okay, I think it's
Okay,
fine.
okay. The Umbreon takes care of Mew for me, which I've done countless times. Urshifu used to early on. It took care of Arceus, but then Aaron started putting in Dunsparce, and I hate Dunsparce now because I think I have a good Arceus matchup, and then all of a sudden, oh, Dunsparce. I'm like, now what do I do? So it's okay. You're right. It is okay. I've done pretty decent with it, but man, that must have been tough. 3 hours a day coaching people through single strike practice.
Yeah, wasn't every single day, but there are some times there's like I want single strike coach, and I get another client like I want single strike coach, and I'm like sure, like I'm happy to help, but
So just Gengars,
And I'll tell my
Urshifu,
friends I'm like I have
Picos.
like 4 hours of it today.
Oh my god, that sounds rough. Well, Gazer, if you
I
decide
gotta
to
get this guy out
buy,
of here.
I love to do it.
Gazer, if you decide to buy more cards, make sure you use the TCGplayer affiliate link that'll be down in the description below, and Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and all that nonsense. So now we'll leave the floor to you, Gabe. Any shout outs that you want to provide to anybody? Anything you want to say to anybody out in the community who may or may not be listening? Floor is yours.
Yeah, so Twitch is gonna be Smart TCG, YouTube is gonna be Smart TCG, Twitter is also gonna be Smart TCG, and then my Metafy is Gabriel Smart. I coach a lot of people on there, like because like there's a lot of regionals that are coming up, so like you want to know exactly like what you should be playing, like you want to get like that like that confidence level up. So yeah, so like I've been doing a lot of coaching. So yeah, if you want to improve your game, then I am there for that as well to help you reach that goal and your potential. So like feel free to hit me up. Consultations are free as well. So like you can kind of, like see exactly, like what you can gain from me and you like what you're, like what you like really want to work on. So yeah.
That's cool.
Sure,
That's cool.
But yeah, no, but like thank you so much for having me. This was super, super fun, and I hope to be on in the future. You guys are
Okay, thank you for joining us, man. This was fun for me. You and I got a
good talks about everything meta and your insights. I appreciate it, man. So,
yeah, for 19 years old, this guy's pretty wise. Wait. Only 19 years old. This guy's pretty smart.
Yeah, you're smart TCG. Yeah.
Right,
having that last name is sometimes really nice, but sometimes there's a lot of jokes where people are like, "Are you actually smart?" or like, "You're not doing very well in this tournament. You don't look very smart today."
I
oh yeah,
the bad.
I hope you have a game cast that gets cast, and one of the commentators say something like that.
Oh yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
I'll talk to Ethan about it and be like, "Hey man, like you gotta, like make like some type of pun on my last name."
You have to.
Yeah, because me and Hector are like super close, so yeah,
it'd
be funny to get
just give the camera like the stink eye, and he'll know what to do when to do it. Like, all right, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
All those links to everything will be in
down below in the description, and
below. Yep.
Please go check out Gabe and all of his content and support him in any way you guys can. But that's it from us for the Gust of Wind podcast. Gazer.
It's a blast, man. Had a good time. I got to chop it up with my buddy from that I met in real life, and me and him have history. That ADP and that Cinescorch matchup is that's gonna go down forever, man. But yeah, I enjoyed this, Stu. Appreciate it. We'll do it again next week, right?
Hopefully with Indy, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So stay tuned for something.
Something's gonna happen. We'll figure
All
it
right,
out.
that's it from us. Take it easy, everybody.
Hey,
Peace
appreciate
out.
you.
You guys.